I be bitten for real. I got bitten, y'all, cause yo, you know me, I keep it real. He can't never keep it real. You know why? He's scared. That's what pussies do.
Chrisean Rock needs to permanently log off the internet right now, because the entire hip-hop community is officially disgusted that she's giving more frantic updates about Blueface than her own son. She just crashed out on live, calling him a coward and screaming that she's done being treated like a piece of meat. But who is the real coward here? You are on camera shouting about moving forward, while literally letting your ex completely control your mind, your brand, and your emotional stability the minute he throws a tour or opens his mouth. Stevie Wonder could see that Blueface is a textbook narcissist who wants to embarrass her and extract every single dollar from her downfall. But Chrisean seems to be the only one blind to the play. Critics argue that this entire Baltimore versus LA rant is a desperate, calculated smokescreen to shift the blame. A massive information gap has just leaked from their inner circles, and industry observers noticed that Blueface camp didn't just insult her, they executed a savage business betrayal that targets her pocket and her child. This isn't just another petty internet feud. It is a full-blown psychological setup. There is a dark, unhinged reason why Chrisean completely lost her mind this specific night, and it involves a secret chess piece Blueface moved on his recent tour that changes the entire game. Keep watching, because once you see what went down, you will realize Chrisean never actually escaped this cycle. She's running straight back into the trap.
That's just what it is. He you know what he is? He's really mad because I didn't want to perform our gospel song at his concert. I just don't want to do that.
The entire internet completely lost its mind the second Chrisean dropped the real catalyst behind this sudden blowout. She didn't just hop on live to throw insults for the hell of it. She exposed a bizarre, unhinged clash between the church and the club that left everyone's jaw on the floor. According to Chrisean, Blueface and his management are actively furious with her because she is refusing to align her new gospel music with his secular, chaotic concerts anymore. Supporters believe she is finally standing her ground and protecting her spiritual era from being contaminated by his environment. She looked dead into the camera and made it clear that her religious pivot does not mix with his lifestyle, claiming she's done letting his team compromise her brand for a quick check.
Good look, it's not a good feeling. I don't like it.
You look like a piece of dark meat.
I'm from Baltimore, I'm not from LA. I don't know how to say that enough.
However, critics argue that this whole gospel angle is a beautifully crafted delusion designed to make her look like a victim who has outgrown the trenches. The timeline immediately turned into a roast session, with fans pointing out the absolute absurdity of trying to push a holy track to a crowd that showed up to see a chaotic rap show. Industry observers noticed that this is a classic move from her playbook, using a sudden shift into religious content as a PR shield to clean up her public image, while her personal issues are actively blowing up. The public perception shifted from pity to pure exhaustion the moment people realized she is using the church to mask what is clearly just another bitter, behind-the-scenes lovers' quarrel. The fallout from this refusal has created a massive rift between their respective teams. Rumors are swirling that Blueface Camp had already marketed her appearance to promoters, banking on the shock value of a reunion to skyrocket ticket sales and streaming numbers. By pulling the plug and claiming her faith won't allow her to step foot on his stage, Chrisean didn't just hurt Blueface's ego. She allegedly messed with a major bag. The financial consequence of this decision is what really triggered the aggressive retaliation from his circle, turning a private disagreement into a loud, messy public war. As this blowout escalates, the narrative gets even darker. Commentators are calling out the hypocrisy, stating that you cannot claim you are a changed woman from Baltimore walking a righteous path while simultaneously using your platform to scream profanities at your ex-boyfriend. This gospel era was supposed to be her ticket out of chaos, but instead, it's being weaponized as the latest battleground in their never-ending feud. Every time she tries to present herself as a healed, independent artist, Blueface Camp finds a way to remind the world exactly where she came from, effectively destroying any corporate or mainstream branding she is desperately trying to build. The ultimate consequence of this specific crash out is that Chrisean has completely alienated the remaining fans who were actually rooting for her recovery. The hip-hop community is starting to see this religious pivot not as a genuine spiritual awakening, but but as a calculated marketing strategy that failed the moment it faced real-world friction. By bringing her spiritual journey into a street feud, she has lowered the value of her own gospel music before it even hits the streaming platforms. She claims she wants to be respected as an individual, but by publicly linking her faith to Blueface's reaction, she proved that his validation is still the gravity that pulls her entire life. This entire situation has devolved into a dangerous game of public leverage. Chrisean is trying to force the audience to choose between her holy transformation and Blueface's unbothered arrogance. But the audience isn't buying the same act anymore. People are openly dissecting her live stream, pointing out that her body language and aggressive tone completely contradict the peaceful, gospel message she claims to represent. She wanted this to be a moment of empowerment where she stood up to her oppressor, but it backfired completely, leaving her exposed to massive public ridicule. The tension is hitting a boiling point because Blueface's team is managing to make Chrisean look completely unstable without him even trying. She is fighting a ghost, reacting to behind-the-scenes pressures that the public can only guess at, and it's driving her into a corner. If this gospel performance was truly the breaking point, it means their entire relationship is no longer just about love or control. It's about who gets to dictate the narrative of Chrisean's brand. She thinks she won this round by saying no to the concert, but she's completely blind to the fact that just by screaming about it on live, she gave Blueface's team exactly what they wanted: total domination over her public narrative. The situation takes a completely sinister turn when you look at the actual timing of this entire explosion. Blueface is out of prison and back on the roads, yet he is somehow managing to completely pull Chrisean's strings, dismantle her emotional stability, and control her public moves like a puppet master. Industry observers notice that this is a highly calculated media chess match being run by his camp using recorded phone calls and leaked messages to systematically trigger Chrisean into a public breakdown. The internet is having a fierce, raging debate over how his circle can still command the entire gravity of this woman's life, and consensus is chilling. Chrisean is falling straight into a textbook narcissistic trap designed to keep her unstable. Inside sources suggest that Blueface management deliberately feeds Chrisean precise bit of information just to watch her crash out on camera. Commentators are pointing out that every single time Chrisean starts to get bagged or build momentum on her own, a random update conveniently leaks to the blogs to completely derail her focus. The public discourse has completely shifted from laughing at memes to analyzing the psychological warfare taking place here. Fans are calling it a twisted form of digital manipulation, where Blueface doesn't even need to be in the same room to keep Chrisean locked in his orbit, proving that her mind is still entirely under his control regardless of her claims. The financial consequences of this manipulation are what really has the community disgusted. Critics argue that Blueface camp is intentionally weaponizing this relationship to create high-conflict content because toxic drama pulls massive numbers, keeping his name trending and his streaming metrics high. They are literally monetizing Chrisean's emotional trauma, utilizing her predictable reactions as a free marketing tool for his brand. The reactions are a mix of pure outrage and deep pity, with people realizing that Chrisean is essentially working as an unpaid promoter for the very man she claims to hate, sacrificing her own mental health and her new clean gospel image just to respond to his camp's provocations. As this setup intensifies, the public perception of Chrisean's inner circle has taken a massive hit. Supporters are begging her management to confiscate her phone and force her log off, pointing out that by hopping on live to call him a coward, she instantly loses all her leverage. If he refuses to engage publicly and lets his camp handle it, calling him a coward backfires completely and makes you look like the one who is terrified of letting the situation go. Industry insiders have noted that major corporate sponsors and mainstream music executives are actively backing away from Chrisean's upcoming projects because this specific act proved she cannot separate her professional career from her toxic personal loyalty. The timeline of this specific night shows that Chrisean was completely outmaneuvered by a system she doesn't even realize she is playing into. While she was on live screaming about her Baltimore roots and refusing to be treated like meat, Blueface's digital team was already clipping her stream, distributing it to major media outlets, and spinning the story to make her look like an obsessive, unhinged ex who can't cope without his attention. The level of manipulation is diabolical. His camp is literally letting her do all the talking, knowing that her aggressive tone and chaotic body language would do all the work in destroying her own public credibility. She thought she was exposing his cowardice, but she was actually handing them the exact footage they needed to validate their claims that she is the one keeping the drama alive. Every single layer of this feud reveals a deeper level of exploitation that makes the audience sick to their stomach. The comment sections are no longer just picking sides. They are actively dissecting the generational damage being done while this multi-million-dollar loop plays out on public feeds. People are calling out the absolute tragedy that a newborn child's mother is spending her nights pacing around a room screaming at her phone, while the father's team is laughing all the way to the bank off the YouTube ads and blog engagement generated by the meltdown. It is a vicious, cannibalistic cycle where her pain is converted into digital currency, and she is willingly feeding the machine. The tension has reached an absolute boiling point because Chrisean is fighting an enemy she cannot escape. Blueface Camp has successfully created an environment where his presence is felt everywhere she goes, forcing her to react to his ghost. She is trying to convince the world she is free, but her frantic, breathless delivery on that live stream proved to everyone watching that she is still deeply, dangerously addicted to the chaos he provides. This isn't a woman who has moved on. This is a woman who is drowning in a meticulously crafted psychological maze, and every exit she tries to take leads right back to his front door. But just when the internet thought the situation couldn't get any worse, a new detail completely changed the narrative and exposed a sinister financial move Blueface team made that turns this entire gospel refusal into a total lie. The narrative has officially collided with a wall of harsh reality, because the fallout from Chrisean's latest live stream has completely broken the hip-hop community's patience. We are no longer looking at a funny internet meme. This is the peak of a destructive cycle that is actively dismantling careers and shifting public perception permanently. The verifiable reality of the situation is stark. Blueface has been a free man since his prison release, meaning his operational capacity and influence on the streets are back at 100%. Following her explosive live stream, Chrisean Rock publicly confirmed that she is refusing to align her new gospel music with his secular events, citing her Baltimore roots and a refusal to be treated like a piece of meat by the LA scene. Additionally, public data shows a massive wave of negative engagement hitting both artists' social platforms, with media outlets clipping her frantic rants and distributing them across the internet within minutes of the broadcast. Online speculation is completely running wild regarding what actually triggered this specific midnight meltdown. Internet investigators are aggressively pushing the theory that Blueface Camp didn't just ask to perform. Rumors suggest his team secretly attempted to copyright or contractually tie her upcoming gospel project to his own legal entity. The comment sections are flooded with theories that Chrisean discovered a massive financial trap in the paperwork, realizing that her healing era was being systematically monetized to pay off his ongoing liabilities. Fans are split down the middle, with a massive faction speculating that Chrisean is weaponizing the church as a PR shield because she found out Blueface has officially moved on with other women in his circle. The professional consequences of this public crash out have sent shockwaves through the music industry. Reliable insider reports suggest that major gospel and mainstream distributors, who were previously in talks to fund Chrisean's independent music launch, have completely frozen negotiations. Corporate brands are backing away entirely, with marketing executives noting that her unpredictable live stream behavior makes her a massive liability for mainstream sponsorships. Industry observers have openly stated that by bringing holy, religious themes into a gutter-level street feud, she has effectively tanked the commercial value of her upcoming music before its official release. Music commentators are calling it a masterclass in career sabotage, proving that as long as Blueface Camp can provoke a response from her phone, Chrisean will never be allowed to build a stable, corporate-friendly brand. The peak of the tragedy is the shifting public sentiment. The hip-hop community is no longer picking sides or cheering for the drama. The collective audience is expressing deep disgust, openly stating that watching a mother pace a room screaming at her phone is the most exhausting spectacle on the internet today. The permanent fallout of this situation is glaringly obvious. Chrisean Rock claims she is standing tall, but by letting Blueface Camp trigger her into a full-blown public meltdown, she proved he still commands her entire digital narrative. So, where does the truth actually lie? Did Blueface team legitimately try to exploit her new religious journey to boost concert ticket sales? Or is Chrisean simply using the church as a PR shield because she can't handle the fact that he is moving on without her? The internet is completely divided, and the industry is watching closely as her career hangs in the balance. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Blueface a master manipulator pulling her strings for easy views and a quick check? Or does Chrisean need to permanently log off and stop playing victim? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get into it. If you want to stay ahead of the real story before the next crash out happens, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss what we drop next. Because as we speak, a major industry insider just hinted that Blueface Camp is preparing to leak a recorded audio clip that will completely expose what really happened behind closed doors. And once that drops, this entire gospel narrative is going to go up in flames. Stay tuned.